So welcome back to another episode of the things that don't make sense in FIFA 19 career mode. I'm going to be showcasing some of the things you guys send in for the Things We Hate series, and I've also got a few things of my own that I want to showcase in the episode today. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up for me. Let's get to 1,000 likes, and if you're new around here and you want to see more of this series, hit the subscribe button today and the notification bell. And you won't. The series is community driven, which means I showcase a lot of what you guys send in, so I do appreciate everyone getting involved with the series. If you see anything that doesn't really make sense in FIFA 19 career mode, you can leave a comment down below or send me a clear clip on Instagram or Twitter, and I can put the best ones in a future video. So this is one thing that doesn't make sense in FIFA 19 career mode. It says, "We're glad to inform you that you've won the Manager of the Month award." Let's see my results for the month. In the Premier League, I am 17th. I've won no games, drawn 3 and lost 2. I've only collected 3 points. How is that Manager of the Month material? This next one also comes from me, and the experimenting with the squad today emails do not make sense half of the time because they come from players that have absolutely no chance of playing because they're like the 3rd reserve or the 4th reserve in that position. So I was doing like a cup game, a very important cup game. I had to win the game, so obviously I would have to put my first choice keeper on Buffon right there. But who do I get an email from? The 3rd or 4th choice goalkeeper in the team asking me if I was going to experiment with the squad today and give him a chance to play. And I'm thinking to myself, mate, I need to win this game. It's a cup game. I have no choice. If I lose, I'm out. I need the strongest team I can put on the field. And you're the 3rd choice goalkeeper anyway because Areola is better than you. Why would I give you a chance to play even if I was experimenting with the squad? You should be out on loan somewhere, I don't know, doing something else rather than sending me emails. Like, I think this feature has good intentions, but I just think it comes from the wrong players and it comes at the wrong times as well. Like, if I'm playing a Premier League game or a cup game, I need to win. And if you're the 3rd choice player in that position, you're not going to get game time, especially in an important game like that. I think it should be coming from at least the 2nd choice player, maybe trying to push into the first team, but the 3rd choice one, especially when they have like a squad position like a prospect or something, it just doesn't make sense for them to ask me to put them in the first team. I think you could say that the whole player interaction thing in career mode doesn't make sense. You get these emails from players and you can't respond to them. You can't send any emails out to any players asking how they're feeling. It would be nice in this case to get an email from a player asking if I'm experimenting with the squad, but me having the ability to say no, not for the next game, but in the next cup game I will give you maybe 20 minutes or something like that. Just to have a bit of dialogue could make it a little bit more better. A little bit more realistic as well, because right now, you know, it's just a one-way street, these player interactions. Next up, we have an image sent in by Jonte. He said that he had a Premier League game the day before the Carabao Cup final. On the 26th, he had a game against Leicester in the Premier League, and on the 27th, he was versing Manchester United in the Carabao Cup final. So that is ridiculous. And obviously, it doesn't make sense because you'd always get a few days off to prepare for a final. You'll never have a game the day before a cup final. But in career mode, anything is possible. And this one was suggested by Jens. He said that he had the FA Cup final a day before the end of the Premier League season. So you can see on his calendar there, Saturday the 21st, FA Cup final, Sunday the 22nd, Premier League game against Stoke City. So I'm guessing he's saying that it doesn't make sense because in the real world, very rare would you see the FA Cup like happen before the end of the Premier League season. I think it's only happened 3 or 4 times. Even Wikipedia says that the FA Cup final happens on the Saturday after the end of the Premier League season, with only a few exceptions. This one comes from XFIC. He says that career mode does not take into account players who have retired from international football in real life. For example, he got an email saying that Ozil was going to go to Germany to do his international duty. In the real world, if you remember back when the World Cup was happening, Ozil actually decided to retire straight after that from international duty, but the game does not register that. And if you go to your career mode and you're managing Germany, you can still pick Ozil for the national team. Or if you have Ozil in your team, he will go on to international duty. So I would like players as well to retire from international duty. I'm not sure if that actually happens. I haven't seen it, so I'm going to say it doesn't happen. But the problem is, though, you see a lot of players say they're not going to play for the national team, but then they do like a U-turn and then they end up playing again. So it's a little bit hard to determine, but I think there should be like an aspect of international football retirement in career mode. This next one comes from Footies. He told me about this little bug in the news tile. So I'm managing Newcastle at the moment, and you can see, just for the context purposes, I'm not in the Champions League. So I'm going to flick through here. There's no Newcastle, as you can see with the tables. And then if I go to the Europa League, there's nothing there as well. Newcastle did not make it, so this is important to know before we actually get into the bug. So all you have to do is simulate to the 12th or something of December. I'm going to find the actual date. So I simulated to the 14th of December, and this is the tile that doesn't make sense. So you guys know that I wasn't in the Champions League or Europa League, but the headline for this tile says clubs ready to find out their UEFA Europa League round of 32 opponents. And they've used a Newcastle player who has the Champions League respect badge on the jersey as well. But the problem is, like, Newcastle aren't even in the UEFA competition, so why are they using a Newcastle player here to promote the Europa League? So this suggestion comes from George. He says that there's a wrong kit font and badge in the news tile after you get promoted to the Premier League. So I took a championship side to the Premier League. In this case, it was Stoke City. And you can see they've got the Premier League patch on the shirt now. And then in the news tile, when I bought a player, I think it was Alex Teixeira, you could see the championship font number and badge on the side of the jersey as well. So obviously it doesn't make sense now because you're in the Premier League now. You have the branding for the Premier League on your jersey, so you shouldn't be holding up last season's kit in the news tile. So this one was suggested by me as well. Maybe you've experienced this, but I actually got transfer offers 2 days after the transfer window finished. So you can see that the transfer deadline day ended on the 31st of the 8th, and on the 2nd of the 9th, I got a transfer offer for Marquinhos. Now, as I got this offer, I was thinking, couldn't you send me this 2 days ago? Why did you wait till the window closed? And the thing is, if you needed the cash, you can agree to it, but you'll have to wait till the next transfer window to get your cash and to sell the player off. So it's a little bit useless to get an offer 2 days after the window's closed. I can understand if this happened maybe a month or two after, because, it's nothing you can do a month or two after. But 2 days after, it's a little bit stupid, because why didn't they just offer it 2 days before while the window was still open? So I know a lot of people have started to complain about this year, especially the big career mode YouTubers. They say that the player names for youth players don't match with the nationality, and even the youth faces don't match up with their nationality as well. In this case, I think the name suits the nationality. The guy is meant to be Japanese, and his name is Ryota Tokida, so I think there's no issues there. But in terms of his actual appearance, I think it's pretty questionable. This one was suggested by Connor. He says that the losing crowd stays to watch the trophy celebration of the winning team. And to him it doesn't make sense, because in the real world you see at least 50% of the losing crowd leave the stadium before the trophy celebration even begins, because they're too upset. They don't want to watch another team celebrate, If you take a look at the clip that I've provided, you can see that PSG beat Monaco. They're doing the trophy celebration, and you can see the Monaco fans in the stands watching the trophy celebration. No one has left. But I think it all stems down to the fact that the trophy celebrations have not been improved in a long time in career mode. They're pretty bad. There's a lot they can do with it to make them look better, more realistic as well. But this year, the trophy celebrations suck. Now this one comes from Kirk. He has a few issues with the sim match option in player career. The first one is the fact that there's no way to sim a match that you're selected to play in player career from the dashboard. But people will tell you that you have to do it through the calendar. But the problem is I was selected for this game, so if I go to simulate through the calendar, the game is not going to create any match data for me, so it doesn't count towards accomplishments. As you can see there, I started before the simulation on 4 matches played, and after the simulation it was still on 4 matches played. So technically the game thought that I didn't play at all, even though I was selected to play. So there's also another way to sim matches. If you press the menu button during a match, you can find the rest of the match option. If you click OK there, it'll take you back to the main dashboard. The problem is though, when you do this, only the matches played thing goes up, and maybe some stamina stuff as well. But in terms of like all the other accomplishments you can do, there's no stats that get counted. So shots on target is 0, beating plays off the dribble is 0. So basically what people want is the ability to sim matches and have like data generated even if you sim a game. So let's say I simulated the game and I came back here, maybe beating players with skill would go up by maybe 2 or 3, and maybe fake shots in the box could go up by 1 as well. Just create some data, because it's a waste of time playing every game. I know you're meant to, and I know people don't do it because they get bored of the game really quick, so they want to be able to sim matches. Calendar simulation doesn't generate any data. Simming the rest of the match doesn't generate any data. So the only way to generate data towards accomplishments is to actually play every match. So that's pretty much all the things that I wanted to showcase in this episode. Thank you to everyone that's been getting involved with all my series on the channel and leaving suggestions for all of them. I really do appreciate it. If you have anything you want to contribute to this series and maybe get featured in a future video, make sure you send in your clips on Instagram or Twitter. and maybe you can even leave a comment as well, and I can create the scenario myself. If you need something else to watch, make sure you check out the last episode in the series. Click the card right now